Hey creatives, let's talk about something that's very close to my heart. But please don't be afraid. It's not quite Halloween yet, but you might know what I'm drawing. Let's talk about spooky ghosts, okay? That's what my daughter calls them, spooky ghosts. The reason I want to talk about that with you today is because a lot of us are not being professional enough, right? A lot of us are missing out on really good opportunities because we don't have a process and we don't have a model that we're using, okay? And we're making simple mistakes that are meaning we're going to miss out on jobs, okay? Now, you may be thinking, Hayden, you're going off tangent already. What are you talking about? But the reason I'm talking about spooky ghosts and the reason I'm talking about you missing out on potential clients is because I did a post yesterday and I said, hey, do you want our template for re-engaging with ghosted prospects? Okay, I said, who would like our template? And a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a while, he asked for it and he said, hey, I want it, but I'm not the creative. I'm actually trying to re-engage with two creatives who have both ghosted me. And I said, so what's the deal? Like what happened with the second one? And he said, well, I spoke to them, I emailed them, I sent them a couple of ideas, and I just don't know what happened. And he said, look, I said to them, look, I can probably afford to spend about, so it was for a logo, and it was for like a tee design, right? T-shirt design. And he said, well, I can probably afford to spend about $400 to $500 on that. And I was like, okay. Hey, hang on a second, man. Wait up. Why were you telling them how much you could afford to spend? Like, I don't understand why you were talking about that. And then it occurred to me, I said, hang on a second. Did they ask you what your budget was? And he was like, yeah, they did. And I thought $400 to $500 was fair. Now, my friend's a really nice person, and he probably did think that $400 to $500 for a new logo, a bit of branding, and a design was fair. And I said, well, look, man, I can see your problem. You went to the creative, so that's him, and you said, hey, creative, I need a logo, right? I need a logo. And that creative said to my friend, hey. Because we've been taught to say this. And it's total shit. What's your budget? And then my friend goes, well, I don't know how much it's worth really, so $400 to $500. And then guess what happened? The creative, she was gone. She ghosted him. And you can probably see what I'm getting to with this. The creative ghosted my friend because she asked him what his budget was, and obviously she was thinking, I don't know what she was thinking, but she was probably thinking more like $1,000 to $1,500. So when she said to him, what's your budget? And he said $400 to $500, she didn't know what to say. So she's like, well, too hard, I don't know what to do, how do I come back from this? I'm going to wash my hands of it, I'm just going to ignore his emails and forget that situation ever happened. Now look, there's always going to be exceptions, there's always going to be other factors at play, but really what I want to talk to you guys today about, and the lesson I want to share with you really quick, is that if you're ghosting your clients, that's shame on you. Now I'm not trying to be harsh, but if you want to take your business seriously, you need to get better at communication with your clients. Now, there's 3 ways I want you to consider being better at communication with your clients. Number 1, don't ask them what their budget is. Please don't ask them what their budget is. Because as I've said so many times before, how can you expect them to know how much your services are worth? Unless they've got 100 friends who they all went to design school with and all have successful agencies, of course they're not going to know how much it's worth. How can they expect to know how much working with you is worth before they've even spoken to you, before you've even uncovered what they're after and got a clear picture of exactly what they need? Because first off, now here's the first one, your clients don't know what they need. So how can you expect them to know the budget? So don't ask it. Now, people say ask the budget because then you know if it's worthwhile talking to them. Then you know if it's a serious job or not. Well, I would like to counter that by saying, well, instead of asking what the budget is, instead of doing that, you say, hey, I'm happy to talk about this. Here's 3 key questions I'd love you to answer for me. If you're happy to answer those, then we can take it to the next step and we'll catch up and see if we can progress this and see what else you might need. So what I'm telling you now is instead of asking the budget, qualify them. Now we have 3 key questions that we teach in our program. The first of which is, what's a tangible outcome, or what are you looking to get? What's an outcome you're looking to get out of this project? That's the first one. What's one key outcome? What's one tangible outcome you'd like to get out of this project? They may not know this, but guess what? The fact that they're answering the questions qualifies them. Because if they're unqualified, if they're just shopping around, if they're looking at all the other agencies and just getting prices, then they won't bother to reply back to your email. So if you're worried about qualifying a client, and that's why you're thinking about asking the budget question, instead of that, qualify them by asking 1 to 2 to 3 really good questions that'll get them thinking about why they need, what their motivations are, why they'd want to work with you, but it also frames you as an expert who's not just going to go, what's your budget, see you later. So qualify them second with 1 or 2 or 3 good questions, the first of which could be something like, what's one key outcome, or what are you looking to get out of this project if we work together? What's your motivation for doing this project right now? Why is this project important for you to work on right now? It frames you as a consultant, but it also qualifies the client, because if they're willing to answer those questions, chances are they're willing to meet with you. And guess what? It takes the focus away from budget. Now I'm running out of space. Let me just make this a bit smaller. So don't ask budget up front. Qualify them with some good questions second. Yeah? What do you got for me?
Nothing.
Oh, what's in the bag?
A pie.
Oh, yummy. I've just got to finish my video and I'll be right in to see you, okay? I'll be in soon, doll. And lastly, look, the most interesting thing that most studio owners miss and don't always get taught is that you've got to sell yourself first. Because let's face it, there's so many other designers out there. There's so many other options for people now. There's Fiverr. I saw a new service yesterday where you can pay a certain amount a month and a one company will do all your design work for you, and they got templates and all that stuff. There's Canva, all stuff like that, right? There's so many options for people. The only way you can stand out and the only way that you can set yourself apart is by selling yourself, right? And guess what? You can't do that over the phone. You can't do that over email. So the third thing I want you to consider, if you're ghosting clients, if you're asking budget up front, if you're trying to qualify clients by asking them what their budget is, and you're missing out on leads, you're not getting back to clients, what I suggest you do is get in front of the client once you've qualified them and sell yourself first. Because the big idea here is you want to focus on yourself, selling yourself as the creative that they need, selling your point of difference, your value proposition. You need to sell the solution second, and thirdly, and only very last, is the price. Because by the time the prospect hears the price, they need to have already bought into you. We are starting a new round of creative growth soon. If you're sick of feast or famine months, if you're sick of seeing yourself as a freelancer and you want to take yourself seriously as a solopreneur, studio owner, small agency owner, ping me with the words growth and we can talk about it and see if it's a good fit for you. So take care. Speak to you soon.